Are you building the next top-tier navigation platform, food delivery app, or would you just like to learn how to add interactive maps to your Svelte app? Well, then you come to the right place. There are a bunch of alternatives out there depending on your needs. We have Leaflet, Mapbox, MapLibre. Which one should you go for? Leaflet has the best compatibility with older browsers and mobile, simply since it renders directly to the DOM. It also has a large developer community and is open source. It has a lot of resources out there to get up and running quickly. However, it does sadly have some performance bottlenecks when dealing with large maps with a lot of data on them. Mapbox uses WebGL, which allows for much higher performance since it uses your GPU instead. This also allows better animations and visualizations in general. There's even 3D maps if you so need to use them. It, however, requires an API key to be used with, and you can only have 50,000 map loads per month. So if you have a lot of traffic, you might want to consider something else or simply just pay for it. We also have MapLibre, which is a Libre fork of Mapbox, and it does not require an API key at all. It is also very actively maintained and has seen a lot of nice features after they forked off from Mapbox. These are all vanilla JS libraries that can be used with any framework, but you can make it easier and more convenient in Svelte by using libraries. This allows for a more declarative native approach where you just define everything through components instead. For Leaflet, we have Svelte and Svelte Leaflet JS. They have sadly not seen as much activity on their GitHub pages recently, so you might have to be a bit cautious there. In today's video, however, we are going to take a look at MapLibre, and for that there is a nice library called Svelte MapLibre, which is also very actively maintained on GitHub. So let's get up and running with Svelte MapLibre. First we just need to install it, so let's do that with npm install Svelte MapLibre. Then we can define our first MapLibre component. So all we have to do is MapLibre as a component, and it will expect some required parameters here. One of them is actually the style. So we need to have a style that says how we should be rendering our map. And there are a bunch of styles out there. I'm gonna be using this free style that is called Positron GL style. You can see that it's quite gray. If you would like to see more features based on what they are, for example the sea here or other green areas, we can use another one called Voyager, which has a bit more color to it. And if we scroll in here, we can see that some of these areas are more green when there is a forest, and also we have more blue seas and yellow highways and streets. Then we can also add some standard controls, which are just buttons for zooming and positioning, for example. So we can add standard controls directly on the component. We can see that we now have access to those up here to the left. If you wish to set a specific starting point, you can set this center parameter here, which is just the longitude and the latitude. And we also have to set the zoom if we don't want to see the entire world. So we can control how far in we zoom. If I set zoom 15, we can see where we can even see the street level of Berlin. If you have a very specific area that you would like to highlight in your map, you can actually set the max bounds, which will restrict the panning to this specific area that you have selected. So this is useful if you don't want to show the entire world, if you're just interested in Berlin, for example. And the first coordinate here will be the southwest position, so it's kind of in the bottom left corner. And the other coordinate here is the top right, so the northeast coordinate of the rectangle where you want it to be bounded to. If you wish to add markers to your map, you can very easily add child components to the MapLibre component. Here in this case we use the default marker, and we just have to specify the coordinates for this. You can also define a pop-up, so whenever you press on this marker it will show a pop-up where you can describe something about what it is that you are actually pinpointing. So what's really nice about using a declarative library like this is that we can actually leverage two-way data binding on these components. So when we render each of these markers, we can actually bind the coordinates to the marker position. So in this case, I just defined a state that contains all the markers that I wish to render on the map. And since we have bind on this, I can also make this draggable, which allows me to move this around. And as you can see, whenever I move the pin around, it will actually change the underlying variable of the position here. So this can be really useful if you're building some sort of pinpointing system, you want to save it to a database, then it would automatically fill in this object property without having to have any form of event handlers or anything like that. It's of course also possible to add different event listeners to entities on your map. In this case, we added it to the entire map. So whenever we click on the map, we're simply going to add a new marker at the mouse position. We can still zoom and pan like normal, but if we just do a normal click, we can see that we can add these nice little markers. And since we made them draggable, we can also move them around. So really easy to get this working without having to write a lot of code. If you don't like the look of the default marker, you can also add your own markers with this marker component. This has full customizability with just the class attributes. You can add your own classes. In this case, I just rendered a nice little dummy truck icon. So whatever you want, you can really put as the content of the marker. Suppose you want to highlight something on your map. There is actually a dedicated format for this known as GeoJSON. So with GeoJSON, you can actually define different features on your map that you might wish to highlight or show a different color, a different texture for. And they have a great specification for all the things that are possible to do. For example, we can highlight this specific building by just adding a nice little polygon geometry. So all we have to do is define the coordinates for the different edges of this house, and we can see that we can highlight this. In order to actually show it in MapLibre with Svelte, we can just add different layers. So for this GeoJSON that I have here, I have a GeoJSON component that takes the data from my JSON that I defined up there. And then we have a fill layer, which will simply fill it with this specific color, and a line layer, which is really the outline that you can see here. I specify the line width. I can make this even thicker if I would really like to let everyone know to never visit this place, for example. Something else that is quite common when working with maps is to have routing. This is not something that is actually tied to the rendering itself, but it's something that you might want to add. So I'm going to show you how to do this with a really neat open source routing API that is called Open Source Routing Machine. You can use this API to actually get the shortest routing paths between two different points, for example. So if you want to know more about this, you can take a look at their documentation. But all we really specify is the starting coordinate and the ending coordinate in the longitudes and latitudes. And then we specify that we want the geometries for this route in GeoJSON so that it can be rendered. Then we just set this JSON feature that we had. It's currently showing us this house, but instead we set it to the route that has been generated. So let's try this out. Let's say I want to go from this house down here up to this house here. I just click and boom, it has generated a route. It can see that this is the route that I should be taking if I want to go between these two different places. And here we then also utilize the on-click event listener. We just set the current coordinate if they haven't been set yet, and then we route the line between these two different points. I could try something else. Maybe I want to go from here to here. It will find a different path. If I want to go from here to here, it will show another path. So this is a really nice and open source API you can use for this. There are a bunch of other, even Mapbox themselves have their own routing API, which of course you will have to pay for. But depending on your use cases, you can have a look. And as long as they have output to GeoJSON, you now know how to render it in your map. So that's all that I wanted to show in this video. There are of course loads of other functions available depending on what you want to do. You might want to have a heat map, for example. You can see how to do that. Everything is available in the documentation. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them below or join my Discord channel. Other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.